Video's live. We're all live.
Before we get going, though, I just want to show this off because I haven't had a chance to put it on the wall yet. Otherwise, you'd kind of be able to see it behind me.
Show what off? What are you showing? What are you showing?
I'm getting ready to show you. I found this.
How are you showing it?
Huh?
How are you showing?
Ready to show you? You keep cutting him the fuck off, dog. What the fuck? You're literally keep cutting him off every time he keeps trying to show you something. It's like every time it's like, all right, I'm going to show you something. Here we go. But what are you going to show me? Shut the fuck up, Pace.
I have a point to this, and you know it.
So, anyway, we've been in our house for about a year now, or almost a year, and I found something. I found the one live, laugh, love sign that is allowed to hang in my house. I found one.
Chase, can you look at the actual stream? Oh, we just had the Rob Zombie conversation.
Well, I don't. Wait a minute. I don't see him. Well, I don't. Why don't I?
I don't see them. I don't see them on the what you call it?
Yeah, I don't see you, Max.
On the stream. Oh. I see you both here.
Wait,
in Discord,
now I see you
on the stream.
That's weird.
Okay, it fixed itself. I don't know what just happened, but it just did it.
Okay, maybe it was just
okay. Show it again so I can see it. I have
and
live to the wishes and death and laugh to the
wishes and love in the back of
I can't see them on the stream.
They are now. It's just that
not mine. Okay, there it is. It just popped up in mine. I must be behind, but they just popped up in mine.
There must be a lag. Would it could it have something to do with the frames, the frames per second setting?
Oh, I don't know. It's fixed now, though.
He might have a buffer. Okay. It could be a buffer.
Okay.
To make sure that it all kind of goes.
So that's why I was like, "How are you showing this?" Because to me, it was like your camera was off.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just being a smart ass.
I'm looking at Discord, and you must have been looking at the stream.
I was looking at this. I was looking at Discord too, but for some reason, my Discord wasn't showing it up because the stream is my Discord.
Okay. All right. Fine. I think we got it. So, y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm, and this is August. Now, normally this would have been the last one of August, but have we confirmed that we're going to do a bonus show with Cam next week?
I asked him about it, but I haven't heard anything about it yet.
Okay, so that's unconfirmed.
Right.
The bonus show is unconfirmed. Well, today we have the homie Ron Block is in the building. And Teen Wolf's dad is in the building. What's up, Max? How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Ron Block, man, it's been good. Like last time we had you on, it's been quite some time. You were, I think last time we had you on, it was right before you actually got married, right?
Yeah. I was sick that day. Shit, I probably had COVID back then.
Possibly. It's I don't know. Your microphone sounds low to me. Is it to everyone else?
Yeah, it was very low to me.
Okay. How close are you to your mic? It still sounds. Yeah, it still sounds the same.
I can't hear anything at this point.
Live troubleshooting, people. Live troubleshooting. Probably should have did that before. We probably should have did that before I told Chase to go live. But
over here, but I'm disconnected.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We hear you much better now.
Here's the headset.
Okay.
Yeah, I was having the same problem.
Okay. So you said last time she was sick, and you said that she might have had COVID at that point.
No, that was me. I was sick last time.
Oh, you were sick. You were sick. You might have had COVID at that point.
Yeah, I went downhill. I started to pull up, and she said, "Nah, go ahead and committed to doing the podcast. Go ahead and finish it out." But throughout, I just feel myself going down that whole hour.
Okay. But we got you back, and the more things change, the more things stay the same. I mean, you still are really like out of all of us, you're the one that's in the middle of still dealing with all of this.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Actually, the case is still kind of steady. We haven't even seen a lag or pickup, so I haven't really seen any difference between the amount of calls we've been running COVID versus before. So I still run maybe about four COVID patients a week. My shift, I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So out of that 3 days, I may run 4. So.
At this point, right? You would think that the people who send y'all out to deal with this, like, shouldn't they be able to afford hazmat suits at this point? Just give you a hazmat suit. Like, it makes much more sense that all of this stuff, like, you post pictures occasionally of everything that you have to wear when you have to deal with this stuff. But it's like, why don't you just get the man a hazmat suit? Like, and just let it be done. Just a full on hazmat suit, or a space suit.
Hey,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Wearing that with some of the equipment they give us, but you got to make it do what make it do.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what do you do?
I'm a paramedic for a private company, so we do a lot of medical transports.
Right.
Facility.
Okay, where are you located?
We in Maryland, but we go anywhere in the country. As long as Maryland is one of the endpoints, we go anywhere.
Gotcha.
So I've been all over, especially during the Gulf War. We used to pick up the wounded soldiers from military bases and take them all over the country. So we travel anywhere. Like we always say, you call, we haul.
No, see, I was thinking, I've been everywhere, man.
I was thinking that too.
We bringing it back to Southern rock.
Yeah, we were having a Southern rock conversation about like the GOAT of Southern rock bands, and I don't think we've named a greater Southern rock band than Leonard Skinner.
Allman Brothers band, man. I told you.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we only named Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top.
Right, but
Allman Brothers band.
Is Allman Brothers better than Leonard Skinner?
Yes.
Like, do they have? Okay.
Yeah, I would say
Okay. Let's do it this way. Do Allman Brothers have more songs that you actually know than Leonard Skinner?
I mean, no, but that's not. I don't always think that the best yardstick for measuring how good
that's how it is for me. Like when they talk about the GOAT in like music conversations and stuff like that, I always think about. I mean, I think of it in the not just about talent.
You think about it in popularity?
No, I don't even think about popularity. I think about like songs. Do they have songs that I want to hear? Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, that's fair.
Yeah, like that's how it goes for me. And I know other people have different metrics of how they figure all of this stuff out. But like when you talk hip hop, I can't find anybody that I would want to hear from more than Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z is the GOAT to me because he has more songs that I actually want to hear. And that's the reason.
I mean, he's a big contender for the GOAT, definitely.
Yeah. So, and like a lot of people will say, like, you know, Biggie and Tupac and stuff like that are ahead of him. But I'm like, yeah, but like, first of all, Biggie's catalog isn't expansive enough. Like he died too early. Tupac has a very expansive catalog because he recorded just a ton of songs, and they just released album after album after album of stuff that he made after he passed. But is any of that shit good?
Especially the one. I mean, that song that's on Dave Chappelle's pretty good. Like,
yeah, I was about to say. It's just as soon as you started saying that, my mind immediately went to the Chappelle Show sketch, where it's like.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, that's That's what people hold up as like the top. And then there's other people that people say like Nas and stuff like that, but like Nas doesn't make music I want to hear. Like his talent is undeniable, but he doesn't make any music that I want to hear. Like there's a few songs of his that I like, but like if I put like all of the if I want to hear some music right now, Nas is not what the search term that I'm putting into whatever music service I'm using. I mean, I use YouTube. I use YouTube Music. I know some people don't. Spotify, whatever like that. If I was using any of those, right? The last search term that I'm going to be using is Nas, except there's one song. And this one song, like if you watch versus battles, which I mean y'all are white, so you probably haven't seen any of these. But like
I know others.
Now, if you watch versus battles, there's one song that everyone who has been on this remix has featured this song in each of their versus battles. And that's the Made You Look remix. The Made You Look remix has been in several versus battles, all with each person that is on that remix that has been in versus. They have all featured this song because the song is that great. But it's that great for everyone else. For Nas, it's just like, this is just something that he does. Like, he does this. And like, it was one of the few songs that Nas has where it actually has a pretty good beat. Because Nas is a horrible beat picker. And that's the reason, that's the reason why I don't hold him up as high as I would hold like someone like Jay-Z or even Rick Ross. Like Rick Ross is the greatest beat picker in hip hop, period. Like there is no discussion there. Like if he picks a beat, it's just like, I see why he wanted that. What he does sometimes is kind of weird, but Rick Ross has this thing where Rick Ross just sounds amazing on anything. Like he just has one of these distinctive, like he can just, no matter what the song is, he just sounds amazing on everything. So it's just kind of like, okay, you did that, sir. Every time he does stuff, but enough about music, because like
it may be a highly music centric podcast actually, because what I watched was dealing with music, but we don't have to talk about that right now. So if you want to steer it in a different,
I watched something.
What did you watch?
Well, I'll talk about that later.
Okay, we'll
get back to that, because I finally finished the Snyder Cut yesterday. You still ain't seen it yet?
I can't make it past it.
I had to break it up. I had to break it into. I had to break it in half. I watched 2 hours, and I realized when I went back to watch it that I fell asleep at about the halfway mark. So I was like, okay, so I remember all of this that happened. I kind of backed it up, and I'm just kind of like, okay, so wherever I fell asleep was about the mark where I should have hit anyway. So I'm cool. So I watched the other half yesterday, and my thoughts haven't really changed very much. But we'll get back to that. They should really just change the name. It should not be called the Snyder Cut. It should be called the Benefit of Hindsight Cut. Period.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of opinions about Zack Snyder, so I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear somebody throw a not.
Yes,
well, maybe not a bad review, but a not flaunting. Oh my God, he made the most amazing movie of all time review.
And that's for the people who are watching. I'm not going to say what Chase just held up. All right, so before we get into consumption. Just like, all right, we'll take it person by person. Ron Block, my man. How are things in general?
I've been doing a lot of filling out my today to-do list. repainted the rec room. Redid my daughter's room. Built a whole bunch of IKEA furniture, painted. Still working on my aquarium. I don't know if you saw that post on Facebook. Still working on that. So hopefully by Friday that'll be done.
Okay.
And then working trying to keep freaking
the last post I saw you were filling.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I ordered this canister filter, and shit, I paid a pretty penny for it. I'm not gonna mention the brand name, but yeah, I got it, put it together, and it started leaking.
Oh,
so and the company's based out of Italy, so it's been about a week before they got back to me, but they did the right thing. They sent me a brand new one, so I actually have two. So if I get that one that's leaking fixed, I got two top of the model filters. So, like I said, by Friday, hopefully that aquarium will be done. So,
what up? And anything else? Anything else popping? Like what's good in the hood, dog?
Hey, nothing much. Like I said, kids getting ready to go back to school.
My daughter started school today.
Yeah, I was gonna go back until after Labor Day because my oldest daughter graduated from Fort Sam, new combat medic. So once she finished that, she's gonna go back to Penn State. She's a biomedical engineer major.
Okay.
My second son, he's in boot camp. Middle daughter, she's doing the thing in Hagerstown. She started to be special ed teacher. So, and I got, I don't know if it's a thing that you saw. I think you're in the same group as I am, that fathers, they do that, graduated from child support. So, yeah, I got all child support on June 1st. That ain't no stars holding up the graduation sign with the cap and gown, but yeah, that happened this year.
That's okay. So, while I think it's funny. I think some of it is funny, but like sometimes dudes can take it a little bit too far.
Yeah, because I think their kids are going to eventually see that.
Yeah, I think sometimes it goes a little bit too far. Like the dude who paid his last one in pennies.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That dude. I talked about that when I was a guest on Stephanie's podcast, Mocha Minutes, because it happened right. The episode I was on happened right around that time that he did that, and like I get it, bruh, but like. All those pennies for an $800 payment. Like, are you serious, dog? Like, did you really need to do that? And like, you do something like that, you really like. That's really fucking with your kid, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does she feel about this? Like, I get it. You probably feel how you feel about your ex, but like, bruh, you also have to think about your child in this. And like,
not if you're doing it as point as she was spending the money on her, but not on the kids. So. You can't see it in one way.
Yeah, but like, like they all can't be Carmen. You know who Carmen Bryan is?
Nah, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so Carmen Bryan is the rapper Nas's baby mama. His first baby mama. The one who also was referenced on Super Ugly, where Jay-Z said that he had sex with her in the car and left condoms on his baby seat. Okay, but she is Nas's baby mama, and when he graduated from child support, she cried broke like she was going to be homeless because apparently his child support was supporting her life, and when he graduated from child support and didn't have to pay anymore, she cried broke and tried to get sympathy, but like sympathy for what? Like he was paying for his child. And he doesn't, once you get to a certain point, he doesn't have to do that anymore. So, like, you crying broke means you didn't do anything with yourself this whole time. So, but,
anything Dr. Dre's daughter's doing?
Dr. Dre's daughter is 30-something years old. I'm sorry. Dad cut you off at some point, and you're crying broke, but you were 30-something years old. You didn't try to do anything with your life at all. Like, I mean, for real. I mean, I get it. Your dad is Dr. Dre, but like, is your dad supposed to support you your whole life? Like, are you not supposed to do anything with your life?
Like, you buy a house with that money, or at least a little apartment.
Yeah, and like she got kids. Oh, I know she has at least one child, right?
Yeah, so she always had that one that they was living in a car or something.
So you ain't want to do nothing for yourself and your child at least. And like you waiting until your dad cut you off to be like, I'm living in my car. Well, what the fuck did you do with the rest of the money, lady? You ain't, you 30 something. I'm sorry, you 30 something years old. I don't want to hear this shit. Like, you know what I mean? He could have cut you off a long time ago. He could have cut you off at 18 and then look at you. You know what? The only people I'm going to feel sympathy for, here are the only people that I'm going to feel sympathy for. Bill Gates' kids. Bill Gates' kids, I don't know if everything's going to change, because, him and wifey ain't doing, they're not rocking the same as they used to. But let me tell you, in his will, Bill Gates' kids get $50 million each. $50 million. For a man that's worth billions. His kids are getting $50 million each. I would have a problem with that. I'm sorry. If you know what, and if his kids be like, "Yo, Dad, can a brother get at least a Billy? Just one Billy?" Like, you know me, you were once the richest man in the world, and I can't get one Billy when you go. Like, I feel sympathy for them. Like, I feel sympathy for them because, like.
How can you feel sympathy for 50 million? Come on, that's 50 of those millions.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's like my dad dying, and I get $50. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but if they don't want it, they can just give it to me.
Yeah, but like it just makes like I just like, come on, man. Like, you are worth billions of dollars. So
he is.
Yeah, he's worth billions of dollars. So, like, you're gonna give your billions of dollars away to charities instead of giving me one? All I want is one. Brother, get one. That's all. That's all I want.
Put himself up by their bootstraps.
Hold on, wait. Let me see.
It's pretty easy for him. They already getting $50 million.
How much is Bill Gates worth? Let's see. He is worth $132.1 billion. And you're telling me I can't get $1 billion. You got 132 and I can't get $1 billion. That's crazy to me. Like, am I wrong for this? Am I wrong for feeling this way? If I was Bill Gates' child, I would be mad as fuck if I'm only getting 50 mil.
Well, he's not dead yet, so obviously they're okay with it.
I mean, but wait till he does die.
Yeah, but it's not like a surprise. Like, after he dies and they open a thing, it's like, oh.
And it says he has according to Wiki, he has 3 children. He has 3 children. And I know all of them going to be mad as hell.
So his children are getting 150 million.
150 million when you're worth $132 billion. All I want is $1 billion. You give us all $1 billion. You still have $129 billion to give away. Do whatever the fuck you want to. That's $129 billion. You have to do whatever it is you want. All I want is one.
He's probably instilling the fact that they need to earn it rather than being given.
Yeah, but did he earn it? Is the question. Because he's the figurehead, and like there's some things that in his past where he just kind of took some stuff from some other places and some other people, and he just kind of made it his own. He was just a better salesman than they were, and he made his fortune based off of selling.
Hey Max, you remember when we went to the theater and watched that movie Antitrust?
Yeah, and the power went out.
And that the villain there was clearly based on Bill Gates.
He was absolutely Bill Gates.
That's all I'm saying.
Which is hilarious.
That's all I'm saying. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for them, and I I don't know why anyone would be against me in this. All I'm saying is I want $1 billion. That's all I'm saying. You have $132 billion. All I'm asking for is one.
I mean,
that doesn't seem like too much to ask.
I mean, I think that's basically fair, but again, I'm kind of with Chase. I can't really turn my nose up at $50 million either.
Yeah, and then you got people like Jeff Bezos is spending all of his workers' money on dick rockets. Because, like, come on,
oh yeah,
like, I mean,
yeah. I think they're far more egregious.
I forgot to talk about this on a podcast, but there was a dude that was supposed to be on that flight to go to fucking space. He was going to go to space, but he had a like how like someone can't make the podcast because something come up. What can come up that's more important than going to fucking space?
Well, first of all, let's be honest. It was a day trip to space. Like, it wasn't like we were going to the space station. We was going to hang out.
Yeah, but he had already paid $65 million to do it, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do this." Like, what kind of money you have where you're just like?
Probably has something close to Bill Gates' money. Like, Bill Gates ain't. Yeah, I mean, if you're worth billions, like, that's nothing, you know? That's the kind of money you give to your kids. But it's, for them, that's nothing. But, like, you spent all of that money for a space day trip. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like, come on, man. Like, if we go into the International Space Station, like, am I going to be able to, like, put a suit on to do a spacewalk? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would spend millions and millions of dollars to do. I would not spend millions of dollars to just ride in your dick rocket on a day trip.
Well, and the thing is, though, like the Bezos thing and the thing that Elon Musk did, it's like all it was a flex. That's all. That's literally all it was. They were just they did it because they could, and it's just, I don't know.
But yeah, so have you been doing anything, Max? Like, have you been like watching stuff or anything like that of note?
I mean, I'm always watching stuff, but just in terms of...
yet. We on life stuff.
You just asked Ron what he was doing.
You didn't ask what I was watching.
I asked him about life stuff. How's life? I asked him how it was good in the hood. And that's what I asked.
Okay, Max, what's good
in the hood, bro?
I mean, it's just the same old shit as before. Going to work and living in a newer. Well, I mean, it's not that new anymore for a year, but a new house. We went to our first concert since COVID last weekend.
What did you say?
No, sorry, not
was it Limp Bizkit
before. Yeah, I was totally Limp Bizkit. No, we completely. It was like you now. It was a completely 90's concert, and we saw Garbage and Alanis Morissette.
I had this thing about Alanis Morissette when I was younger. When Jagged Little Pill was the heat. When it was hot,
mm-hmm. And that's what she did. Jagged Little Pill in its entirety when we saw her.
Now, I have heard Jagged Little Pill a lot over time,
right?
Because my ex-wife was all about that life. The whole album, of course, about fucking Dave Coulier. Are you fucking kidding me? Dave Coulier, the cut it out dude from fucking Full House. That's what that was about. Are you kidding me? But anyway, I said something then, and it rang true. And I don't know if anybody else felt this way at the time. It was just like, yo, she made an album when she was angry. And if she's not angry anymore, how are you going to receive her music when she's no longer angry?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had a few other hits after that album, but they weren't nearly, I mean, like you said, they weren't really as angry.
It's the whole thing to where, like, Smashing Pumpkins was so much better than Zwan. You don't want to see Billy Corgan be like, "Oh yeah, everything's good, Jesus," you know.
That's my favorite Zwan song.
Oh yeah, everything's good, Jesus.
Parentheses, oh yeah, unparentheses, everything's good, parentheses again, oh, Jesus.
But how was the show?
It was good. I mean, like, so my wife had bought these tickets for us back at the end of 2019, and then the concert was supposed to happen in 2020, but then COVID kind of messed it all up. But they never formally canceled the tour; they just pushed it to 2021, and remarkably, actually kept their promise. So they came to, it was at Walnut Creek, which I now realize only Chase understands that, but it's one of the amphitheaters not far from our house. And so first and foremost, before Garbage even came on, they had Cat Power with the opening act, and she was really good. I think we lost Scar.
That wasn't Scar.
Oh, sorry. I thought we lost Ron. It's because Scar moved over to the other side of the screen. But so Cat Power opened, which was really good and kind of somber, but in a good way. And then Garbage came out.
Did she play any of the stuff off of The Greatest or anything like that?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
I can't remember what, but I know she did. And then Garbage kind of kept their set really eclectic. They had the I'm Only Happy When It Rains, last song, Ron's Back, and then like Garbage put on like a really solid set, and I was thinking, damn, there's no way. They were so good that I was like, there's no way Alanis all of that. She's just not, she's not the angry 20-something that recorded Jagged Little Pill anymore. And then she came on, and she sounded fantastic, and those songs still worked surprisingly well.
She was on Weeds.
Wait, who was?
Alanis Morissette. Well, it was either Weeds or Dexter. She was on one of those shows.
It was probably Weeds.
Yeah.
And she was also in Dogma. She was God.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When she before she came on stage, they did like a 10-minute like intro of just all these clips of her throughout the years, like on like talk shows and movies and things, and they used a couple of clips from Dogma to introduce her, like talking about how she was God and everything.
I thought that was clever at the time. It seemed really funny, but now like looking back on it, was just like you couldn't pick nobody else. Like, I mean, but you know what? You know what? I'm glad they chose her instead of Morgan Freeman. Like, let's be honest. Like, they could have just went Morgan Freeman like everybody else. But you know what? They went there, and you know what? I'm cool with it. Yeah.
And, but like, that was the thing. Like, it was our first, like I said, it was our first COVID. So it just felt good to be back and seeing live music. And then the added bonus being that Alanis Morissette actually fucking rocked. Like, I was somewhat dumbfounded by it because she put on a really good show.
Did she play Ironic?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yes, of course she did.
She did the album.
It was like, yeah. So she did. So she did Jagged Little Pill all the way through, but she didn't do it in order. So it was like the last two songs were Ironic and You. And I told my wife that it was a missed opportunity during You Ought to Know, that they should have put clips of Full House up on the big screen that she had up there.
Of course, because it was about Dave Coulier. And I will say this, and I've said this several times before, but I've played You Ought to Know on Rock Band. And I realized once I played bass on that song on Rock Band, and I'm like, yo, this is way funkier than it needed to be. And then I realized that it was Flea that actually played bass on that song. And I went, that makes sense now. Like, because that bass, the bass line in that song is killer, and he is back there slaying, and like you don't pay no attention to it because you're paying attention to her words, but like the music behind her in that song is immaculate.
It is, and yeah, that's true. That's a good point because like you were saying, like you don't necessarily notice it because of the lyrics, but once you know that it's Flea's bass that's on that track, you can't unhear it after that. It has almost a Chili Peppers feel to it because of it.
Yes, it's kind of like when you play a whole lot of Guitar Hero and then you hear those songs after the fact, and for some reason now the guitar part of that song is loud as fuck to you because you've played that so much and you that's kind of all you hear.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you know this, but the guitarist on that track is Dave Navarro.
Yes, I knew. Like, I knew all of this stuff at the time, but Flea stands out because that bass line is way funkier than it needs to be.
So that song is basically a 90s supergroup.
Yes,
it is because you've got Alanis Morissette. I mean, which doesn't necessarily count because it's what made her popular, but still, after the fact. But then you've got Dave Navarro and Flea, and then also Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters is the drummer on the entire album, so he's on that track too.
Yeah, but like, come on, all right, okay. So, are we going to have the Taylor Hawkins conversation?
Is there a Taylor Hawkins conversation to be had?
Does he count as a good drummer because, Dave Grohl records all of this stuff himself and then teaches them how to play the songs?
Well,
the first album was just him.
And Color and the Shape. Like, Taylor Hawkins is actually not on that album. They kind of him in after they had already recorded. Dave Grohl had done the guitar and the drum parts. But to answer your question, yes, he is a good drummer just because, just watching any of the live shows or live clips of them, he clearly has... He's not quite up to Dave's caliber, but he's like one step below it.
Ooh. Speaking of Dave Grohl, anyone who pays attention to Dave Grohl stuff, they know that during COVID, he's had this back and forth with this little girl called Nandy Bushnell.
Yeah, I hadn't really much about it until this past week, I think.
Yes, he actually, when they finally came back outside, he invited her on stage and she played drums to Everlong, and she slayed. Like this little girl slayed.
Yeah,
I thought that was really dope.
Everlong's a difficult song, so it's
it's a lot of
all of Foo Fighters are difficult because I was like, oh man, Foo Fighters are pretty catchy. I want to learn some of these songs. When I was first learning how to play guitar, I was like, I couldn't learn any of them, like because they're all like super weird and super like complicated, even more than like playing metal and stuff. Which
I will say this. I have in rock band settings, I have sang quite a bit of Foo Fighters songs, and one of the best songs to do is Best of You. But if you're singing, it is the worst song to do because you're screaming the whole song.
Yeah,
it
shreds your vocals.
Yes, but that is the best intro song to a set list. You know what I mean? I believe that's the best intro song to a set list. Like when you first start playing Rock Band, that's really cool, except for what it does to your voice. Like if the only way to get through that song is to cheat, where you just kind of, because Rock Band, you don't actually have to sing, you just have to make sure that you hit the notes, and if you whisper the notes, they still count.
So you just kind of you have to try to be somewhat on key in order for it to count.
Yes, it has to be close, depending on how high you're playing. Whether you're playing on hard or expert, you have to be pretty close.
Yeah. So that's been the highlight of the last 2 weeks for us, and then it's just been, me and he'll go to work, come home, go to work, come home. The usual the bullshit.
Word.
Yeah.
Chase, you got something for me?
Well,
Life-wise?
Life-wise, not really too much, man. But which is good, man. I'm tired of like things being crazy and talking about cars breaking down and shit.
Oh, did your car break down?
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, my alternator went out and my the whole battery thing. It was like a big ordeal. But
mine is still not right.
You've had no trouble with that alternator.
Well, my alternator before wasn't the problem. It was the battery. I thought it was the alternator. So this time it was actually the alternator. Your car
is still not right. It's still not right. I don't know exactly what's wrong, but ever since I had the issue with the belt, I thought I was going to be okay, and I thought maybe it just needs a couple of days to kind of work itself back into where it needs to be. But no, it's not, and I don't know what the problem is because I know dick all about cars. So I'm just going to have to call my brother-in-law and be like, "Yo, bro, I need you to come take a look at this because I don't know what I'm doing. I know nothing about your car. I know nothing about cars at all." It's kind of like how I was initially with computers. The only thing that I knew how to fix was stuff I had broken.
Like cleaning your mouse ball.
Yeah.
Oh, for younger listeners.
We have no younger listeners. Come on.
The idea of a mouse ball is like super foreign to young people.
It was pretty foreign back then too, to some extent, because mouse balls always pissed me off. So the second things switched over to laser, I was like, "Thank God."
Yeah, it took me a while to convert.
And the people that use the trackball, man, those dudes are probably out killing people.
Wait a minute, I loved my trackball. I love my trackball. What are you trying to say? You trying to call me a serial murderer? I loved my trackball so much.
Do you play an inverted too?
No, I do not. My daughter does, and I don't understand where that comes from. I never played games with my trackball. Let me clarify. I never played games with my trackball. I like my trackball just for normal mousing things. You know what I'm saying? Normal mousing things.
This is going to be a super 90s podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I loved my trackball so much. I still have it, but it doesn't quite work right. And I had the one. It had the big red ball, and it has little dots all around it. So this is early in the laser tracking. So it's watching for the dots to know how to move. But yeah, I used to love that thing, and I considered getting another trackball. But see, the new trackballs got all these extra buttons and shit. You know what I mean? I just need two. Bruh, I just need two. That's all I need. I need two buttons. I don't need all this extra shit. I need a big ball. That sounded weird. And I need a button on each side.
Big red ball? Is it red?
Big red ball.
It was a big. Mine was a big red ball. And that's all I need. See, even the mouse that I'm using right now, it has two buttons on the side. These two buttons right here on the side, I had to fucking turn these things off because every time I would be on a website or something like that, I kept going forward and backwards by accidentally pressing those buttons. So I just turned those buttons off. I just need my two buttons and my scroll wheel. That's all I need.
You must have a big thumb.
My hands are huge, sir.
You wouldn't be able to deal with this, would you?
Absolutely not.
That's terrifying.
This is a pretty large phone. That's my hand. This is a 6.3 inch screen. That's my hand. I have large hands.
Can you play the piano?
No. I always wanted to. I've always wanted to. It always seemed like one of those things that I would love to be able to do, but I don't have the patience.
Why was that so funny, Max?
I don't know.
I think it was piano.
Anytime anybody calls it a piano, it cracks me up.
I think it was piano. Yeah. So, you said ain't nothing else really going on for you?
Nah, man. I just got a lot of 90s shit coming up.
Okay.
Get ready.
Okay.
Get ready, man.
All right. So I guess, I mean, ain't nothing really going on for me. My daughter went home. She started school today. That's pretty much the extent of what's going on around here. Just sitting around here, not really doing very much, except for watching a whole bunch of stuff that I probably shouldn't. Like,
I think that's probably all of us to some extent.
Yeah, but see, I end up watching like stupid stuff. Like, I end up watching like hours and hours of people building cities and city skylines instead of actually playing the game, because I own that game on PC and Xbox. I'd rather watch someone else play it.
Yeah.
And the guy that I talked about last week, the city planner plays, he's in this group, right, where they have this one city and it's 5 of them, and occasionally they have a guest come in to kind of do some stuff, but they all work on the same city. So like each week, one of the 5 will have like a few episodes, like 3 episodes, where they just kind of do whatever they want to enhance the city or do whatever they want to. And then they switch off, and then the next person does like 3 episodes in a week, and then they just do that, and they just kind of rotate through. And I started watching that, and I'm just like, this is really cool. Like, and then like seeing like them go and like destroy other people's shit. Like, okay, so I didn't necessarily like this, so I'm just gonna do this and like see how they interact with each other through working. It's kind of like working on a group project, but you all don't have your input at the same time. That's what it seems like to me. So
then that's basically a group project anyway.
Yeah, but like there's no like, I mean, apparently they have a Discord group that they talk through stuff in, but like when it's my turn, I do what I want to. And like, to whoever is next on this group project is gonna have to figure this shit out. So I mean, it's not like a normal group project where basically one person really does it and the rest of them take credit. I mean, that's basically how most group projects go. One person is really the person to do it all. I got kicked off of a group project because one person did it all once. In high school, and like the teacher realized that this one person was doing everything, and it was just kind of like, yeah, you're probably good, and like kicked all the rest of us out of the group. It was just like, well, he just basically did his own thing. So how about you figure out something else to do? And so we're basically on our own at that point.
You troublemaker.
No, see, here's the thing. Here's what had happened. It was for my TV production class in high school.
You go to half-ass on TV production class? Come on, man.
No, see, here's what had happened. We had a group project where we had to make a PSA. And so I was there during the planning process, but I'm from Newport News, and they bus kids. So like, I lived on the complete opposite side of the fucking city. So when he was actually recording all of the stuff and setting up how he wanted to get his shots and all of that kind of stuff, I wasn't a part of that because I couldn't go all the way to fuck there after school. This is like the 11th grade. I didn't have a car or anything. How the fuck was I going to get there for you filming your PSA? So like, I just kind of let him do his thing. Like, that's basically what we all did. We just kind of let him do his thing. And the teacher realized that he was basically doing everything himself because, of course, everybody else that was in the group lived fucking downtown on the other side of the fucking city. So, like, it was just like, well, you're just going to have to come up with your own thing. I was like, great. Because he was working on a really good grade for us,
he probably ended up. Did he end up with an A?
Yes, of course he did. And then I ended up with a C because I just had to slap something together because, of course, they took the shit away from us and not enough time for me to really figure out something like really good.
I was in TV production class too. And we did some awesome shit, and I wish I could like find some of that shit.
I think I was in some of those things that Chase did.
I did a lot of behind the scenes stuff, editing, and like being like the floor manager. I like being the floor manager. I did not like being in the booth. So like, there's not a whole lot that's like I'm in. I was an anchor for a news thing that we did that actually aired on TV, and I had people calling me, was like, "Are you on TV right now?" It's like, yes. And do you understand how fucked up that recording was? Because, of course, the guy doing the teleprompter could not get the speed right. So, like, I kept messing up. So we kept having to stop the recording and, like, go back and forth. And I was just like, okay, let's cut the teleprompter off. I'm just going to go by the script that's in my hand. How about I just do that? Because he can't get the teleprompter where I need it to be. So, yeah. So I ended up going with what was in my hand. And by the time we got to that, I had pretty much memorized it all anyway because he fucked it up so much and we had to keep redoing it. So I memorized it. So I just kind of went straight through it without even having to look at my notes.
Okay.
So what year were you in 11th grade?
That would have been 96, 97.
All right, so we're still in the 90s.
Yeah. I graduated high school in 98, so.
98? So I think I was a manager at Chance Sports in 98.
Did you get all the cool jerseys, dog?
All the jerseys, shoes, got those $300 Italian leather bows.
Wow.
Got my our store was right across the street from FedEx Field, so I racked in all that money from home games on Sundays.
Yeah, I still think, compared to what I'm used to, sports stores up there are fucking weird. And because I'm from a place that doesn't have any like major sports teams. So like, you go to a sports store, you can pretty much get anything you want to. You know, like, my cousin is an Aaron Rodgers fan. Guess what? He can walk in a fucking sports memorabilia store and buy Aaron Rodgers stuff just in the store. You can't really do a whole lot of that there. Like when my child moved to Baltimore, guess what sports memorabilia stores have? They have a Ravens side. They have an Orioles side. There is nothing fucking else in that store. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you see that a little bit here. But like, because there's definitely stores that have like all NC State stuff or all Hurricane stuff. Yeah. But then you do have stores that have everything. I mean, I can get a Boston hat or a Atlanta hat or.
Yeah, but I was North Carolina was a big Redskins town too, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Before you got your team.
Yeah.
The skins and the Cowboys are huge here, but like everybody has all kinds of different teams here. But the Cowboys and the Redskins, well, the football team, Cowboys and the football team, they are huge here.
There's just not a lot of when you really think about it. There's not a lot of sports teams in the South.
No, there really isn't.
Except for the college teams. The college teams we look at like sports teams. Yeah. Like our actual sports teams.
Yeah, like the NC State UNC Duke thing is like nationwide. Like,
it is, and it's weird when you find when that light kind of dawns on you. It's like why do people in the middle of Hawaii give a shit about
it's the same reason people give a shit about Red Sox and Yankees that aren't from there too. I mean, it's just a historically rival people just really gravitate to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true, but I don't know. I get unusually protective over certain North Carolina things, and it's like that, and that for some reason always just gets on my nerves.
It's like, why y'all eating Carolina Packers? That is ours.
But see, here's the thing. you don't have to feel that way if you're a fan of NC State. Like, no one cares about NC State. No one in North Carolina gives a shit about NC State. Let's be honest. Like you're kind of
You're
like,
definitely not from Raleigh.
You're either Duke or North Carolina. Pretty much everywhere else, like you're saying, it's like a thing in the country. No, it's those two. Like no one outside of North Carolina gives a shit about NC State. I know a lot of people in Carolina don't give a shit about NC State. Holy fuck, NC State is like the biggest like Jan Brady of North Carolina. Like it's weird and like. But then there's also like this weird thing where like I don't hate Duke. I hate Duke fans. Duke fans are the most obnoxious creatures next to Cowboys fans ever.
Well, you're not from fucking Johnston County because the UNC fans were the most obnoxious things ever.
Yeah. Like I've heard that argument before a bunch of times. Like I can't what you just said, that I don't hate Duke, but I hate Duke fans. But trust me, that just means you have not been around a true Carolina. Way worse.
my boss did grad school at Carolina, and I think I understand that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not shit talking the school. The school itself is very good, but it's just that there's the love people have for that basketball team is unreal. And the problem is that in North Carolina, because Carolina is considered the best out of all of them, like all of them, the sports coverage skews towards Carolina. So like my mom always says, like if Carolina if say they're playing NC State and State happens to win, the news coverage won't be how NC State won. It'll be about how Carolina lost.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, we don't really have most of that in Virginia because like, we only have two big colleges that anyone cares about in Virginia. That's the University of Virginia, which if you're black and you cared about the University of Virginia when Charlottesville happened, you kind of backed away from your school there, buddy, because it started on the campus of the University of Virginia. and then there's fucking Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech is literally on the way opposite the complete opposite end of the state. So like you could care, but like it's not like I'm going to a game. You know what I mean? Like I'm not driving 3.5 hours to go to fucking Blacksburg. Yeah, that's your damn.
So you're not a Hokies fan, is what you're getting at?
No, I'm not. I only paid attention to the Hokies when Michael Vick and his brother were there. And then his brother turned into a colossal disappointment. But then again, you end up being a colossal disappointment when your brother is already in the NFL and you drive an Escalade to high school. You know what I mean? Like you drive an Escalade to high school, you're kind of gonna get into some shit that you're not really supposed to be in because like your life is different than these people that you go to fucking regular ass public school with. And you know, Michael Vick also graduated at the same time that I did. You know, we all, you know, and like Michael Vick had to leave the area to get noticed because at the time Michael Vick was in school. Ronald Curry was everything. Ronald Curry was everything. He was Mr. Basketball in the country, and he was Mr. Football in the country. No one gave a shit about Michael Vick until he went to Virginia Tech. I can tell you this firsthand. Ronald Curry was everything. And then Ronald Curry made the biggest mistake of his life. Because he was good at both football and basketball, he made the mistake of going to the wrong school. He went to UNC and realized that he wasn't as great as basketball as he thought. So he wanted to stick to football. And UNC is not a football school.
No, their team is actually not. Their team is at best mediocre.
Right. So he got stuck. because, he was going to do both. And everything was going to be great until he realized he wasn't really as good at basketball as he thought. And, and he was going to have to focus on one, and he thought football was going to be his ticket, which it ended up being. I mean, he was a quarterback, but he ended up being like some third string receiver for like Oakland for most of his career. And now I think he's a wide receivers coach or some shit like that for the Saints or something. Last time I heard,
I don't even know who would be the football school around here. Would that be?
It's right now.
I mean, historically,
it's historically NC State. Recently, it's kind of Duke.
Duke's had like a weird streak of having a decent team
that's what I said. Recently, but historically, NC State is the football school.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, but I just didn't pay much attention to the football. But I've been to more NC State football games than anything else.
Yeah, same. Although, no, I mean, maybe because they've got the Pirates, but I don't know. Yeah, it's probably NC State.
Well, Pirates is just less about sports and more about partying and SEDs. So
true.
Yes, because they're the closest to the Outer Banks, right?
Yeah, I mean,
technically, there's no. I mean, you're right down the street's closer to the Outer Banks, but so I guess yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like well, I mean, kind of like if you go to Greenville, which is where ECU is.
It's an hour and a half away from the Outer Banks versus 2 hours away from the Outer Banks.
Yeah, basically. And, like, it's weird, though. Like, if you walk around the town, like, you feel like you're in a beach town, but you're still a good hour away from any ocean.
Haven't I lost? Did y'all stop talking, or did I lose the sound?
I thought everybody stopped talking.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought
but yeah, man. But the local North Carolina sports is probably going to alienate some people. So let's switch some gears. But
I mean, it's just sports. We're just talking about like local sports stuff. I mean, at least if Ron Block wanted to talk about local sports stuff, he actually has like real local sports stuff to talk about on each level. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
can even tell you my connection to UNC. My ex is Jordan's cousin.
Word.
So I kind of he was in the same room. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but we was in the same facility. You know how he keeps himself separated from the.
I think that brings up a really good point. I think that's why, and
that goes back to our '90s theme, because that guy always wears '90s dad jeans.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Jordan.
Jordan. Okay,
but yeah, because I think during like around 95, 94 is when like it was like cool to be a UNC fan because Jordan was in his prime and Jordan went there. So all the cool kids and all the fucking kids that like thought we were pieces of shit because we didn't have Abercrombie money was
nope.
Were UNC fans, but it wasn't because it was just a cool thing to do. It was like
yeah. No, yeah, totally. I mean, that was part of the culture that we grew up in. Like, if you like the overlap between the Abercrombie crowd and the C crowd were pretty much identical. Like,
you would think that the Abercrombie crowd was Duke.
No,
you
like,
would think because that's an expensive school, but it was less about money and more about clout.
Yeah. Exactly. Like Carolina has always been that has always been that school that it doesn't matter which socioeconomic group you fall into. That is the school that you pull for.
Abercrombie is, that was more of the white trash of the. I mean, when you talk about like Duke, you would be talking about like polo or lacrosse or something. You're not talking about Abercrombie.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, like Abercrombie is like the niggas of the rich people. That's basically what it is. Like rich people, like Abercrombie. For real.
I saw an Abercrombie commercial recently, and I was like, "Huh, they're trying to come back."
What's my
trying to stay relevant?
My old coworker was like really hype about not Abercrombie, but it was the other one that's kind of like niggerish to rich people. What is it, Hollister? Like
there's Hollister, yeah, and American Eagle.
Yeah, American Eagle. The problem with American Eagle is like you just found if that was just a place in the mall. Like you wouldn't even have to go to the good mall to get an American Eagle. You know what I mean? Like you had to go.
American Eagle was the place that you would go if you realized you didn't bring enough money to Abercrombie.
Well, like because you can still get polos and you can still get polos and cargo shorts that like fit right, not like a Walmart polo and collar short that was like all weird, but they were a lot more affordable.
But out of the stores that we're talking about and out of the brands that we're talking about, like American Eagle is the Walmart of that. You know what I mean?
Because Hollister is not affordable. Hollister is still $60 for a polo shirt.
Yeah. Like I actually remember, like years ago, I read this article about the downfall of Abercrombie because they don't hold the same clout as they used to, and they talked about how in 2008 when the economy went to shit, like American Eagle and
Aeropostale,
Old Navy. Well, no, but specifically Old Navy and American Eagle changed their pricing models so that it would be so they could sell like instead of like going in and buying one T-shirt for $50, you could get like three shirts for $50 or something like that. Something a lot more reasonable. And then Abercrombie just sort of refused to do all that because they thought that because they catered to rich kids, that the rich kids would still come to them. And then it turned out that was not the case. They actually went to American Eagle and Old Navy because they had cheaper prices.
Old Navy is the Five Below of the places that we're talking about. I will say though, when you're going school shopping for an elementary school kid, Old Navy is like fucking Wonderland.
Oh, I believe it.
It's Wonderland for a school age.
Because you're like 3 pairs of jeans for $30. I'd buy that for $30.
Yeah, you totally messed that up. But I got you.
No, he didn't. It was perfect.
Okay. So, all right. So, instead of doing what we did last time, are we gonna jump into consumption early?
Yeah, because last time I didn't jump into it. I jumped in. I tried to jump into it as a joke, and you guys caught on to the joke, so it was funny. But I have some wins, and I really wanted to talk about them last time, but I did. But our conversation with Blue and Elaine was just like so good that I just didn't want to do it. But let me get mine out of the way because it's kind of much. But and I want to talk about my wins, which I did finish Wolfenstein 2, which I just started that game and I already finished it, which that was awesome because I was really in the mood to kill some Nazis, and I'm just like so over the fact that killing Nazis somehow is political now.
Should you ever be not in the mood to kill Nazis?
Never.
No.
And the new Wolfenstein's game makes it very satisfying. But I finished Sea of Solitude, which is not a very long game, but it's kind of about depression and stuff. But it was a very good game, I thought. And it's not a long game, but it was on the Xbox, and it takes me a while to finish games on the Xbox since it's not like with me. It's normally in my son's room, and he was never on it. And finally, we were like, "Well, you're never on it. Well, it's going to come out here for a little bit because I want to finish some games." And he was like, So he kind of got grounded from the Xbox so I can finish some games. So I finished that and it went back. But,
so you re-gifted it to yourself, because we can't say the politically incorrect term for it, but you re-gifted it?
Yeah.
Back to yourself? Okay. Like, because I mean, normally I would use that, and last time I said that, someone says you shouldn't say that. It's like, really? Are you serious? But yeah, apparently we're
Chase recorded an emo album with that as the title once.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that was but that was before it was considered not okay.
I don't know. In some ways, I think. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
and Modest Mouse says it too, but about God.
They do.
The line goes, "God takes life; He's an Indian giver."
Okay.
Yep.
But
I can see how that line works, but re-gifted it.
Yep. But yeah, I finished Control, which I didn't notice before, but you could because that was a very hard game. But they actually made a way to where you're not really change difficulties, but you can kind of like use sliders to make it how difficult and like different things. So like, do I want to have more health, or do I want more damage, or do I want less damage and more health, or whatnot? So it's kind of like a very unique way to do difficulties, which is pretty cool. But they added that after the fact because it was very alienated to a lot of people that were fans of that studio. So, but I finished that. Still doing Scarlet Nexus and Red Dead Redemption. I played some 12 minutes. For about 12 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to continue with that game. Because I've heard that the ending is actually kind of shit, and I don't know if... I might just go through it with a guide. I was just getting to be like, I'm over this fucking point-and-click shit. Like, not point-and-click like Life is Strange, but point-and-click to where... Like, it's a bunch of random stuff. You just gotta click everything to figure... And it's like, oh, I'm supposed to put the toaster inside the big butthole, and that's how I open the door. And you're like, okay, how am I supposed to figure that out? But
I mean, naturally the toaster goes in the butthole, so...
So, yeah, but Forza Horizon 4, I've been playing that with the kids, which has been super fun. It's very beautiful on the computer.
The Horizon games are really fun until you realize that, you know, until I realized that driving games don't hold my interest. They just don't hold my interest. And it's always fun. And like the like in recent years, the only one that I really got into a little bit was The Crew, and that's only because I played with people. I have not played that game alone since the last time we played on like a game night, and that shit was like super fun.
But that's why I like a Horizon game, but where it's open world.
Ass, son. I was whooping Blue ass that night. He talked all that shit, and I whooped Blue's ass. And don't let him tell you no different. I fucked Blue ass up that night. We would just, I mean, every time he wanted to play, I was just like, why are we playing a racing game? And then I whooped his ass. I beat Blue so bad. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I like them because it's arcadey, but then it looks like a simulation game. Because I've always felt that way, to where like, man, I would wanted a game that looks like Gran Turismo but plays like Burnout. And there you go to Horizon games, and they're good. Now they're on Game Pass. Once 5 comes out, we can just play it. You know, it's going to be great. Playing some Mexico.
Plays like the good Burnout games.
Yeah.
Takedown and Revenge. Let's be honest. There's only two good Burnout games. Takedown and Revenge. That's it.
You don't like Paradise?
No, I hate Paradise. I fucking hate it.
I don't want the soundtrack down, and it'd be fine.
I don't want an open world Burnout game. I want a track to be set up, and I want to just play on that track at the time. I don't want an open world Burnout game. Period. No. Not fun for me. Not at all.
Okay. Well, now that's out of the way, we're going to go right back to the 90s. We go back to 96. Quake just got an update. Nobody asked for it, and I love it when shit like this happens, to where like it's it's a passion thing because nobody's like just saying, "Oh, we need to update Quake in the 4K and add crossplay and put it on Game Pass and all this stuff." And it's like, and I went through with Aiden and some of his friends, and we played some deathmatch, and we did an act in the campaign, and man, it was a super fun time. And yeah, it's still it still looks like Quake. It's not going to make it look like the new Doom or whatever, but it's definitely in 4K and definitely plays good because the kids were complaining. They were like, "Why is it so fast? Why can't I aim?" I was like, but they still held their own, man. It was still super fun, man. And so that goes back. Yeah, it still has the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
I think a remake of the original Unreal Tournament would be fucking dope.
I was playing Unreal 2004 with Aiden and my wife a few months ago, and that was fun. But yeah, I think Quake. Everyone says Doom, and Doom is cool, but I think Quake is more important because for one, it's actually 3D. Doom is not a 3D game. Quake, you can actually look up and down versus just side to side.
Yes, it's 3D, but like cardboard cutouts.
Yeah,
but, Quake is a better game to use if you're trying to make an art for video games as an form because it's a better. I mean, Doom's like you said, Doom is fun and gory and has all that good stuff with it. But Quake
Quake's also really darker because it has that very gothic horror aspect.
Yeah. And the fact
it's also the first online multiplayer, actually online.
Yeah. So it had all those components going for it, and then you bring Reznor. I know he did the soundtrack, but didn't he also do some of the
what?
Some of the sound design.
Well, he came in to do that, and then he was like, "Well, I've done this. Can I do the soundtrack too?" They're like, "Sure."
Yeah, yeah. But that just gave it that much more credibility because. Clearly the creators
in '96 Nine Inch Nails was everything. So
exactly, yeah, and the fact that Trent Reznor was enough of a be all I kind of want to write the music for this shit. It all kind of worked out pretty.
Yeah.
For that game.
So the thing that I watched we're going to go to 99 now. The thing I watched was also on HBO Max, the Woodstock 99 documentary.
Watched it.
You watched it too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was super good.
I liked it. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained and completely reminded of the weekend that it happened because I remember watching it on him.
Yeah, because it was live stream, it was you're watching a football event. But on TV, you didn't see what they're showing on the documentary. Man, that shit was insane. What the fuck, man? Because one, it's weird that the things that went wrong are I think because people want to blame it on Fred Durst, and yet they kind of were enablers, I would say, but they weren't to blame. I think those promoters, that one bald promoter, not the Woodstock guy that was the original, that one bald guy or whatever, that dude is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I agree. And no, I totally agree. Even at that, even at my most loathing of Limp Bizkit, I've never thought that they deserved the blame that they got for that moment because one, I mean, just plain and simple, what were people expecting? They were a metal band, and
I think it was the promoters mishandling everything, not having food and not having water, and having it in a military base where it was over 100 degrees on concrete, and stuff. So everybody was pissed, and they kind of went into the survival mode, and then and you have, but the demographic of that was dude bros. So it was dude bros. Yeah. Think of your dude bro. Do you see a dude bro as a dude who is in the Lord of the Flies? That was the most anarchy I've ever seen. To where inside of that military base was complete anarchy.
Yeah, it was, and like I remember the day that Limp Bizkit was playing. Like I remember this because MTV was hyping it so bigly. They were playing on a day that both Rage Against the Machine and Metallica were also playing. Like I think it was supposed to go Limp Bizkit goes first, then Rage Against the Machine, and Metallica closes out the night. So the audience was already primed for 5-6 hours of straight moshing. And then, so I just don't think that anybody should have been surprised by what happened during Bizkit's set. And for the record,
that wasn't the worst of it, because the worst shit was during Chili Peppers.
Yeah, it was, and that was the next night.
I just want to butt in and say that the black people are totally lost on this part.
You know that you listen to Limp Bizkit and Korn.
Yeah, but I never gave a fuck about Woodstock 99. I never gave a fuck about the original Woodstock. What I look like? I mean, like, the only thing about Woodstock that even means remotely anything to me at all is, like, okay, Hendrix was there. I can't name you one fucking thing that Hendrix actually did that day outside of the national anthem. But
that's all you need.
That's the only thing I know that he did at Woodstock. So Woodstock 99 got me. Like, I have no fucking idea anything that.
But you still need to watch that shit. Both of you guys need to watch that shit.
Yeah,
it's a good documentary.
Why? It's like I didn't watch Firefest either.
But Firefest didn't happen. Woodstock 99 happened.
Yeah. Like, Woodstock 99 is what would have happened if Firefest had, like, just ever so slightly much more competency. And then, going back to the documentary really quick, though, like, the one thing that I didn't know from the documentary, which is just completely trivial, but I really love, is the fact that, one, the very last band that played at Woodstock 99, Megadeth of all bands, and two, Dave Mustaine in his infinite smart affery.
I do have a connection to Megadeth only because of my old job.
Oh, really?
Yes, one of the I used to work for a company called Teletech, and one of they did like customer service for a lot of different people. But at this time, I was working as basically customer care for Nextel.
Right.
And this older white lady who was on the team, she actually got a call from Dave Mustaine.
Oh, wow.
And she was freaking the fuck out.
Was he being? He wasn't being a dick, was he? Because he can kind of be.
I think he had. I think it was like it was something simple. Like he had a problem with his bill. He didn't think he got charged correctly or some shit like that. So it's like she dealt with the call. She freaked out, and then she like made up an excuse to call him back to say, "Hey, we got this fixed for you." Blah blah blah, whatever, just to be able to talk to him again. But that totally happened.
That's awesome. But yeah, like in the documentary, like they were play at Woodstock 99, and the last song that they played was Peace Sells But Who's Buying, which is
MTV the MTV News song.
Yeah,
the MTV News song has the little bass riff.
Yeah, it has the bass lick.
Yeah, I know a little something, motherfucker.
Which I always thought was fun, pretty cool.
Because people are, like, if they're going back to like who's to blame, I think it's the promoters and the demographic. Because it would be did this happen at Family Values Tour, which is basically the same lineup of metal bands, Limp Bizkit, Korn, and all that. And but no, did it happen at Ozfest? No, because like metalheads go to that, not dude bros.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Oh, sorry, that's on my
okay.
But that's just But yeah, no, I totally agree. And what's funny is like a few weeks after I watched that documentary, somebody on Twitter posted this documentary that was made about Ozfest. Like, it was kind of like one of these unofficial documentaries where person who made it made it with everybody's permission and got kind of blackballed because she didn't have any of the song rights, so it never got an official release. But you can watch it on YouTube. But that tour happened not long after Woodstock '99, and they showed tons of a whole bunch of crowd footage, and even a tenth of what happened at Woodstock '99, and that was just nothing pure metal the entire day. The pits were rough, of course, but not to the extent where people were getting sexually assaulted and things like that.
Yeah, because that was another thing. I would say definitely watch that, but if you're sensitive to something like that, that it's mentioned. It's not a big part of it, but it is mentioned. So, but they do have a disclaimer at the beginning. So,
yeah, they do. But yeah, no, I agree that the documentary was pretty cool.
And Alanis Morissette was playing right before Limp Bizkit. So.
She was, yeah. Alanis Morissette opened for Limp Bizkit that day.
So yeah, it's a good documentary, and it's very. If you were alive in the 90s, I think it's a must watch. Even if you're not, and if you're a fan of that kind of late 90s nu metal scene at all, it's definitely a must watch because it's definitely an interesting documentary because it's just weird that even happened.
If for some reason I even cared to watch this, which I don't, but someone listening might, where do I find this?
HBO Max.
HBO. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
I have access to HBO Max only for a couple more weeks.
In those couple more weeks.
There.
But yeah, that was pretty much all my consumption. What about you guys?
Yeah, you probably should have went to them first.
No, I wanted to get mine out of the way because I knew that I didn't get to do mine last time because I gotta say my wins, man. I'm finishing all these games.
Because we didn't care, sir.
Because you don't care, sir. You did this last time.
Yeah, that's true.
So are we basically just talking about like media that we've consumed over the last X amount of time?
So y'all just had a long drawn out conversation that half of the conversation had no fucking clue about. So we are going with Ron Block next. So because if you start talking about some white people shit, I'm just gonna fucking log the fuck off. How about that? The only connection that I had two connections to that whole fucking conversation. So Ron Block, what have you been consuming, sir? We'll come back to you, Max. I'm not even gonna do a consumption because why? So Ron Block, what you got for me, dog?
I've been binge watching Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if y'all been watching that on Vice.
I've never heard of that.
The backstories of different wrestlers, controversies.
Oh, I got a homegirl. I got a homegirl that be posting stuff every time a new one comes out. She's just like, yo, the new episode with the Ultimate Warrior just came out or some shit like that. So I'm guessing that's what she's talking about?
Yeah. That was the episode on him, New Jack, Bruiser Brody's death. I think they're both the Road Wars. So I've been binge watching that. Of course, Disney Plus's What If series. I binge watched the 3 episodes of that.
Okay, so let me say this. All right. There's been 3 episodes so far. We've got 2. Meh. We got 2. Meh. Okay. I mean, all right, I guess. And then 1 really good episode so far.
So the last 2 was mad. The first one was straight. That was
whoa.
I wasn't feeling the Black Panther.
I love the Black Panther one because it showed how just changing one person changed that whole shit, and it changed all of these people, and it even changed Thanos. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you probably already seen spoilers because I've even posted a spoiler where it had Thanos. It had a picture of Thanos from Infinity War, and it said the fighting game boss when you're against him, and then it had a picture from him from What If, and it said once you unlock him to play yourself. Like if you watch the episode, you know exactly what I mean. But I mean, I like the idea that one change changed so much. My biggest problem with the first one was involving Steve. Involving Steve as you know, involving Steve in any way outside of reducing him to the Peggy role in this equation. That was a problem for me. You know, Steve got to be the super soldier. Peggy kind of did her thing on the low. All right, cool. But like, so Peggy gets to be the super soldier, and you just say, okay, fucking Steve, we're gonna make you a bullshit like pre-modernized Iron Man. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you really had to try so hard to keep Steve involved in this? Like, no, the thing was, you should have reduced Steve to her role, where her role was setting up S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of that stuff that she did in the background, and kind of helping Steve out that way. But like, to put Steve anywhere near her level in a bullshit Iron Man suit just didn't work for me as a plot device. I wish they would have just let Steve take a fucking step back and let it roll with that. Like, you know, and then the last episode, I'm not gonna do no spoilers, but like the explanation of why all of this was happening was supremely disappointing to me. It just was. Like, the explanation was just disappointing. I just thought the Black Panther one was really good because of, like, you could clearly see how all of these people are different just because those two roles got switched out. Black Panther became Star-Lord, and all of these things related to Star-Lord became better because you had a better person in that role. So that's why I like that's the one. I think the other two are kind of duds, even though there's a meme attached to the third one that I shared that meme too, and it's fucking hilarious. All right, go ahead. You got it.
I mean, so Netflix show, Netflix movie called Sweetheart. Anybody seen that one? But a young black woman got stranded on a deserted island. She's fighting this merman type creature.
Wow, that sounds all right. That's like some shit Chase would watch.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how I got suggested on my recommendations, but if you get a chance, check it out. It's called Sweetheart. It was pretty good. Kind of strange. It was kind of a cross between what's that Tom Hanks movie where he gets stranded on the island?
Castaway.
Yeah, cross between that and fighting a mysterious creature towards the end. So.
Okay, yeah, I don't watch Netflix very often, and the last time I watched Netflix, I got sucked. I just kind of got sucked into watching Paper Tigers, and I thought that was just a cool ass movie. It's not the greatest movie, but I really enjoyed that movie when I watched Paper Tigers. It was just kind of funny, and it was just like what I think it was just what I needed at the time I needed it.
I've been watching Dragon Prince. I forgot about that.
Did they come out with some new episodes?
Not yet, but I hadn't watched it. I hadn't been caught up at all, really, so I've been kind of just going back to it.
Okay. Here's the problem with Dragon Prince. The motherfucker who plays Sokka is just playing a different version of Sokka in this shit, and it sucks.
Well,
like, yes. He's still Sokka. He's still Sokka. And, I get it. You're the same guy who did the voice, but why are you the same character? He's still Sokka.
Right.
In a different kind of fantasy world, he's still Sokka, and that's the part that bothers me. But other than that, I really enjoy Dragon Prince.
You kind of got typecasted there, huh?
Yeah, it's not anywhere close to Avatar. Dragon Prince, it currently is and could possibly stay better than Korra. I liked Korra, but for different reasons. But Korra has some weird ass moments. But currently it's in front of Korra. We'll see how it goes if it continues.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
So other than that, that's about it. A lot of YouTube's. I don't know if you watch Dame Drops.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn. That was my jam. I like that shit. I still like that song. You should get yourself a double cheeseburger. Damn. I used to like that dude. Here's why I stopped watching that dude. Because this motherfucker, let me tell you, this dude was making all of these videos, and the thing he was doing the most was he reviews fast food. Mm-hmm. And a while ago, after that song blew up, when those dudes were just taking clips from like YouTube and stuff like that and making songs, not too long after that, and he really blew up, and he was doing a lot of reviews. He basically said that he was starting to get a health issue and he needed to stop. And this motherfucker was actually on a video. He was like crying and shit because, he saw his livelihood. Like, this is what he did. And he saw his livelihood going away because he had to stop eating so much fast food because it was affecting his health. So I'm like, all right, dog, like, I get it. And this sucks, and you're crying, and it makes me feel bad for wanting to have, for me feeling selfish enough to want you to keep eating fast food because it's affecting your health, which could affect your life, and that fucking sucks. And then he stopped for a little bit, and his ass came right back and started eating all his fast food again. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck did you cry for? And that's why I stopped watching him. I did watch him when he was going through those videos talking about old boy who got caught with the underage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he went in, and I watched a little bit of that when your boy EDP got hemmed up for talking to what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. I watched his videos related to that, but I stopped watching his fast food stuff because he cried. He cried and he made me feel guilty. I felt guilty, and I will never watch him eat fast food ever fucking again because I felt guilty for wanting him to eat fast food for my fucking entertainment. And I felt bad because that was for me. I enjoy watching him eat stupid shit and like the new hotness that came out. Like when they made the fucking Double Down, I was like, yo, you should fucking eat that shit. And I am going to watch this fucking video. And then I felt bad for wanting him to eat more shit like that. And then he cried and I was like, you know what? I should be ashamed of myself. And then like he came back and I'm like, well, you should be ashamed of yourself. I shouldn't feel bad no more. Okay, never mind.
But that's it for me.
I know you don't play games as much as like me and Chase. Well, Chase basically. So have you played anything recently?
So if you see me on Xbox and when I see my son and my daughter, I haven't played in a minute now. Even though I downloaded stuff for game from the Game Pass, just haven't had time.
Okay.
Haven't had time to play anything.
Hold up. Max. Homeboy, Team Wolf's Dead. Yeah. What you got for me, dog?
Kind of like everybody else, just sort of binging things that look interesting. We just started watching Succession on HBO Max. We watched like 3 or 4 episodes of that last night. Definitely worth checking out if you like, watching rich assholes be rich assholes.
I think I'm gonna try. I like I said, I have HBO Max for just a couple more weeks. I think I'm gonna try to get the Nevers in. And is it called the Nevers?
Yeah, the Nevers.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try that. Someone told me I should do that as a Joss fan, even though he had to like separate himself from the project.
Yeah, oh well, we can do a whole thing on Joss Whedon, but keep my mouth shut on that one. But there's that. Been catching up on some movies I had either never seen or hadn't seen in forever. I rewatched the movie Event Horizon, which holds up beautifully. If you like, really gory, stupid sci-fi shit.
Yeah, that basically
the Black and Berries.
Basically, they should have never gave you niggas powers. The movie.
Basically. What's frustrating about that movie, as good as it is that it's not the original cut, though. The director actually turned in a movie that when they viewed it they deemed was worthy of an NC-17 just because of all the violence. But they had to drastically cut it to get it down to an R, and it and unfortunately the footage that they cut has kind of gotten lost to the powers that be, so we'll never really see that version of the movie. But there's that. And the movie Ghost Dog, I rewatched that recently.
I have never seen any of those trailers for Ghost Dog and went, you know what? I want to see Forrest Whitaker as a hood samurai. That's pretty awesome. That's what I want to see. I want to see Forrest Whitaker. It's because it's hard watching anything with Forrest Whitaker in it because you're always trying to figure out which way his eyes are gonna go. So they
kind of use his eye as a thing of menace. So it works in this movie. And plus the score was done by RZA.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but come on, RZA's a weird dude.
I mean, yeah, but he knows what he's doing. So
I say so. I think he is one of those people that you can actually say that I believe he is a musical genius.
I would agree, and that movie holds up pretty beautifully, largely because of his score.
But I ain't never seen nothing that made me think I want to see Forrest Whitaker as a hood samurai. I no part of me has ever said that's something that I want to see. Kind of the same way I didn't want to see fucking Tom Cruise as the Last Samurai. It just didn't fit for me.
Well, that movie's also not that good, so. Or
you can do something stupid like try to watch The 13th Warrior and spend most of the movie not understanding what the fuck's happening.
Yeah. Then there's reasons for that too. But
there's movies where you don't know what's happening just because it's a bad movie. Then there's movies that you don't know what's happening and you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, like any number of David Lynch films or something like that.
Battlefield Earth, son. Battlefield Earth is still a good fucking movie to me, dog. I don't care what nobody I love that shit. I bought it on DVD. I love that shit.
I mean, yeah, Battlefield Earth is a lot of fun if you're really interested in a very thinly veiled story of how Scientology can be.
But for Scientologists, that's a nonfiction movie, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even think it's Scientology. I think it's
no. It is.
It was written that way, but it doesn't seem much like it's Scientology as opposed to just being anti-religion.
Well, I mean that's fair. But
we do know that the author of the book created Scientology,
right?
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, it was a fiction writer, but it's cool. I understand that, but the movies doesn't seem like it's trying to lead you down to the Scientology path, as it's modern religion is dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an unfair point, but it's yeah.
Well, I can't say
that movie is. That movie is
I don't want to alienate nobody, so you believe what you want to believe, that's cool. I'm not saying what you believe is dumb. Don't work for me.
Yeah, and I'm the same way.
Do we have any Scientologist listeners?
I'm talking about speaking to the other people. Scientology is fucking stupid. That's not the point here. I'm saying that it's that movie leads you to believe that other ways of believing are wrong. That type of thing. And I'm not saying that if you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're Jewish and all that other stuff. I'm not saying that all of that is dumb. I'm saying it don't work for me. And that's all I got to say about that. But Forrest Gump. When did Forrest Gump come out?
96. 94.
Hell yeah!
No.
Back to the fucking 90's, dog. But yeah. So that's all I'm saying about that. But I love Battlefield Earth.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with loving Battlefield Earth. It's a delightful, stupid movie, but But yeah, like, and then let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've seen lately that I talk about, but I think that's about it. And then kind of just, doing the usual, listening to albums that I haven't listened to in forever and checking out podcasts, and that's about it.
Word.
So you need to get into some video games, Max. You're getting to that age to where you need to veg out and kill some Nazis.
No,
I mean,
you know what you need. You know what you need.
Wolfenstein sounds like a lot of fun.
You know what you need, Max. I'm gonna tell you what you need, and this is something that it doesn't sound like it's as great as it is. But if you have something where you can get Pac-Man Championship Edition, you don't think that a modern Pac-Man game can be engaging, but Championship Edition is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Pac-Man Championship Edition is phenomenal. No matter when you play it, you're just like, yo, this is dope, son. All right, so real quick from me, like I said, I watched the Snyder Cut. I think it's better than the original, but I think you get major points taken away for the benefit of hindsight. I don't think this is not the movie he intended to make. This is the movie that he intended to make after the first one got fucked up. And I don't think all of that is Joss Whedon's fault. I know we blame Joss Whedon for a lot. I don't think it's all Joss Whedon's fault. I think he intended to make a movie similar to the original movie. And then he had the benefit of seeing how well that shit didn't work. So he had the time to make a new version with all of the things that make that movie make sense. So he made that. And that's the reason why I call this the benefit of hindsight cut, not the Snyder cut, because this is 100% the benefit of hindsight. You put out another project that probably would have been somewhere close to what you originally had in mind for this, and that shit wasn't going to work either. But you had enough time to figure out how to do it better. So you did. And you know what? I'm happy for you. And I'm also glad that they are not going to continue with your Snyderverse nonsense. Because fuck that guy. Before Pooh Bear left, her and I finished Orphan Black. So now I am re-listening to the podcast, Orphan Black: The Next Chapter, which is available on any podcast app now. You don't have to get it on Realm. It used to be called something else. It used to be called Cereal Box, and you had to buy it on Cereal Box, but then they changed to a company called Realm, and you can go to your if you watched Orphan Black, you can now just download this. But here's the problem that I have with it. So I paid $10 for this thing on Cereal Box. When they switched to Realm, now the thing that I paid all of this money for has all of these fucking ads and shit in it now, because they switched over to a subscription model, and me buying this doesn't fucking matter to them at all because I'm not in their subscription model. So when I bought it when it was on Cereal Box, none of that shit fucking matters, and now I got ads all through this fucking thing. The
fruits of the digital future.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fucked up that at the very least that they could have at least had this is the version if you bought it with Cereal Box, because the app updated too. The app turned into Realm from Cereal Box. So if you had the Cereal Box app, it just turned into Realm. And I think that's so kind of fucked up, because now this thing that I paid money for now has a whole bunch of ads that I never have to listen to. I should never be forced to listen to this shit, because I paid for this already, and I don't have nothing to show for what I paid for. And like, I downloaded the podcast for my daughter using the regular Pocket Cast app, which has all of the same fucking ads that I have on the fucking app that I bought it on, which sucks to me. So that there's some things that I want to get into now that she's not here. I'm gonna try to like branch out a little bit more and try to watch a little bit more. But of course, I get stuck on these tangents of like watching YouTube and getting spending 5 hours watching people play City Skylines. And then yesterday was the National Battle of the Bands in the Cracker Barrel National Battle of the Bands in Houston, and one of my favorite black college marching bands, Norfolk State, was actually there, and they did very well. And like, even if you have a remote interest in show style marching bands, you should totally check that out, because I think everyone did a really good job. And it was mostly field shows. There were some stands, but mostly field shows. And I thought everyone did a really good job. And I watched it all on a crappy live stream from someone's phone. And then I'm watching the videos after the fact, and it's just greatness. And if you care about that in any way, shape, or form, you should totally fucking do that. And I'm glad, because the season is getting ready. The season has started. We've already had some football games. We've already had some band matchups, and it's going to be glorious. For those in the know, Bethune-Cookman and FAMU are now in the SWAC, so now they get to go up against the big boys, and that is going to be very interesting next week when FAMU versus Jackson happens. No one here gives a fuck about this. Like y'all are looking at me like how I looked at y'all when y'all were talking about Woodstock.
Watch that shit.
In fairness, I am strangely fascinated by marching bands like that. I think that there is something really, really cool about that kind of event. So
yeah,
cool.
And it was really cool. Except for we really need to fucking. Here's the thing. All of the big competitions or exhibitions or whatever like that, for some reason they keep having these things in fucking domes, and domes suck for these types of events, because you have these big, loud, powerful bands of like, some of these have like 250 to 300 people in it. And like in a dome, all this stuff is like echoing off the roof and shit like that, and the sound is terrible. We need to start having these things in open air stadiums, because even in like January, where they normally have the Honda Battle of the Bands, that's inside of a dome. Also in Atlanta, like, we need to stop having these shits in domes. Like, it fucks up the sound for everyone. And the bands are not adjusting, because of course, if you're inside of a dome, the drum line really needs to bring that shit down. Like, the drum line can completely take over a band, just because of the way that sound carries from the drum line and the way that echoes. So I really hope that they just, I know it's difficult to find new venues and stuff like that, but we really need an open air venue for these type of things.
Yeah. I would probably agree with you, even though I haven't heard most of these. But yeah, generally, if you're in that kind of environment, it's better to have open air. Otherwise, you're not, because otherwise that sound is just going to reverberate everywhere.
Yeah, and that was the problem. But man, I'm happy that it's that we got like real marching band stuff back. There's been stuff here and there over the course of the last year during the pandemic and stuff like that. And I don't know how long it's going to last this season, because it seems like COVID is going to be a bad motherfucker still. And like, some of these schools are probably going to end up closing back down. Especially, we were talking about UNC earlier. I saw this shit at UNC. Let me tell you about dumb motherfuckers.
This is the water fountain thing?
Yes, the fucking water fountain thing. Apparently, there's some tradition that, like, when you start at UNC, that you drink from this fucking water fountain. Now, I talked to my boss about this. My boss was there as a grad student, and he was like, "No, they don't make grad students do that. Only the fucking freshmen." Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like, there was this picture, or these series of pictures of these people waiting to drink from this one fucking water fountain. They're all standing in fucking line. They're all wearing masks and shit. And they're all waiting to drink from this one fucking water fountain. Bruh, if you have on a mask, if you have to put on a mask just to fucking be here, I don't think you should be drinking out of this fucking water fountain.
That's fair.
It doesn't seem like a good idea. I'm pretty sure that whatever your tradition is, like, the tradition was not made at a time during COVID. Like, it doesn't seem like a good fucking idea, to whereas you have to pull down your fucking mask to drink from this water fountain just so you can be like everybody fucking else. You are in college. Be your own fucking person. Stop following the crowd so you don't get fucking sick. The only smart person in that whole fucking situation is the first one. Everybody else is fucking stupid. I'm sorry. If you got any fucking thing, like, even if the tradition is like rubbing your hands on a log or something like that, as long as somebody is right there behind that with some hand sanitizer, all right, cool. We might be able to pull this off, but like drinking from a water fountain, having to remove your mask to do such a thing is dumb. It is, It is dumb. It is very dumb. And like, I hope y'all motherfuckers don't get sick. I really do. But if you get sick.
So it's just a water fountain?
Yeah, it is one water fountain.
I thought it was like a water fountain with some dude's butthole was in it or something, and because college.
No, but it's just like this one water fountain, and this long line of people all wearing masks are waiting to drink from this water fountain, and that seems so unsafe.
Oh, it is. It was not. They got a lot of flack for it, and rightly so. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So like that shit seems so unsafe. I only care, like, if you go to school or whatever like that, I only care about you being safe. My daughter is back in actual regular ass fucking school this year, and I'm happy because this homeschooling shit was not very good for her. But guess what? I made sure she's fucking vaccinated. I make sure she has several masks. You know what I mean? Like, all of this stuff, you know, if she decides she wants to drink from a water fountain after everybody else, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive to fucking Maryland and slap the shit out of my child because that's stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, I think most of what I'm consuming is my normal YouTube stuff, so I can't really say very much.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we're good here.
Yeah.
You should definitely watch that Woodstock shit, man.
I can't second, because it is real.
It's just a good documentary. I mean, and you were talking about the benefit of hindsight. You know what? Coachella is the Zack Snyder of festivals, because they had the benefit of hindsight. You're like, oh, so you mean to tell me that, like, giving people their basic needs of survival, or like taking that away, is going to end up in their festival being everybody covered in their own feces and burning things to the ground? Let's not do that then. So they had the benefit of hindsight to, like, know that. Yeah, I'm joking, but you should know that.
I know absolutely nothing about Coachella except for occasionally who's headlining.
Yeah, well, the documentary does a contrast between Woodstock and Coachella, because Coachella happened like 6 months after Woodstock. The complete antithesis.
It's like, so Coachella is like the middle child.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what I was saying was not hyperbole. The shots that you see at, like, Woodstock, not 94 that was actually mud, but the shots that you see of Woodstock 99 of people covered in mud, they thought they were covered in mud, but that was the runover from all the porta potties. They were covered in their own shit.
Wow. Yeah. Which was something that I had always wondered too, because, like, the days that Woodstock 99 happened, it didn't rain. In fact, it kind of famously didn't rain because it was so hot outside. People were kind of hoping it would. This is why I stay away from large groups of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be just that one.
I've only been to like maybe a couple of concerts in my life. I'm not going to a festival. I'm sorry. That doesn't seem like a good fucking idea for me.
Well, I don't like festivals in the fact that they're really expensive and you don't get to see everybody anyway. So it's like I might as well just see the guys that I want to see on tour and pay like a fraction of the cost.
Or at this point, just charge me for the streams, bro.
I was thinking about doing that. Like I was thinking about, like I was like, man, I could totally do that because I got the setup for podcasts. I could get like a soundboard and whatnot. I know some bands and host some like internet concerts. I could totally do that, but I just need the time to like organize and stuff. But I have the equipment and I know I can do it.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, do some Tiny Desk at Home concerts.
Like do that for Extra Life. Have Extra Life instead of big games. It's just like a slew of different local artists and stuff. That'd be cool.
I would watch that. I'd pay to watch that.
Maybe
you pay to, but that's the thing. You pay to watch that, and it goes to sick children at Duke Hospital.
Yeah, that the Duke Hospital is the problem. Every time someone did Extra Life, like if I wanted to donate, I'm going to donate to CHKD because that's the one that I have the personal connection to. And like, I get it. Everyone does their thing for their hospital that's close to them. But I'm like, just like, yo, why would I donate to Duke Hospital that I have absolutely no connection to? I get it. It's for the kids, but I have an actual connection to CHKD. So typically I go to the website and send my money to CHKD because that means more to me because of my connection to CHKD.
Can you find local streamers that might do it also?
There's no cohesion in Virginia. Like Virginia sucks. Like I'm just gonna be 100% honest.
I thought it was for lovers.
Virginia sucks. Because the problem with Virginia is there's so much military here. No one here is from here. There's only a few of us that are actually from here or our families are from here. So like, there's no like real cohesion in Virginia. It's a little bit.
Well, Charlottesville proved that Virginia is not for lovers.
Charlottesville proved that like you can get people to come in from everywhere to do something stupid. Which is basically for Virginia. You can get this shit to happen in Virginia because so many people come through here. You can get people to come here to do something stupid. Yep. Especially like Charlottesville and especially in Richmond that's a lot harder to do in Hampton Roads where I'm from. Like there's a lot harder to do there unless you're doing something like really cool, like something in the water, like that festival that Pharrell was putting on. But like, it's hard to do anything because like we a lot of us, we don't have a lot of pride in our area because most of the people in the area are from another area and they care about their area.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah. So, and it sucks because, and then like, you know, we don't have any sports teams like we discussed earlier. Like we don't have very much to actually unify us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we were going to get a basketball team at some point, and then that kind of went to shit. Especially because the dumb motherfuckers tried to call us the Rhinos or some bullshit like that. What the fuck does that have to do with Virginia? Like, it's something weird. And then, like, they try to get us a fucking baseball team. And the baseball team seemed like a pretty good idea because we have there's a pretty decent minor league team, in Hampton Roads that's a feeder system for, like, the Orioles, I believe. And so, like, a baseball team would have been cool. But, like, then that shit fell through, too. Like, we can't get nothing to fucking happen around here.
Hey, I may be getting the Washington football team.
We might be getting what?
I said, Snyder gets this way, I'll be getting a Washington football team. You know, he's trying to move out.
I know a lot of people that would welcome that. I don't want them bums.
Their practice facilities are already in Virginia.
Well, they practice here. Because I know people from home who come up here to the Richmond area to when they're doing their training camps and stuff like that. So they practice around here somewhere.
Yeah, I used to make that trip there a lot.
Yeah, I don't want them bums. Like if I want a team here, I want my own bums. You know what I mean? Like I want them to start a team from scratch, and we got to pick from everybody else's bums in order to make our own bummy ass fucking team that we can feel happy about. I do not want someone else's bums moving into our cities and being the old Redskin bums. I don't want the fucking Redskins.
For Baltimore.
I mean, okay, so but Baltimore got fucked out of their team. And I watched the marching band. I watched the 30 for 30 about the marching band, about the Colts marching band. See, like what happened with y'all with the Colts? That made sense that someone would decide to bring a team back. You know what I mean? Because y'all really got fucked over with the Colts. Yeah. So yeah, I get that. And that band documentary is really cool. Like that band documentary is really cool because like all of a sudden, just like overnight, all of a sudden there's moving trucks. Hey out. And it's just like, the fuck you mean that they're leaving? And so like all of the band members are trying to like sneak in the building and like grab their uniforms and their instruments and all of that kind of stuff. And then like after they left, the band still performed. The band still performed in like local parades and stuff like that. They still kept all of that going. And then the first year of the Ravens, when basically the Browns moved and became the Ravens, they took someone's bums and made them a good team. The Browns left and became the Ravens, and for the first year they let the band come back and they let them keep their Colts uniforms and stuff like that for like the first year or so. I thought that was a really cool documentary. I saw that's when the 30 for 30s was kind of new, and that was a cool little jump. And you know I care about marching bands, so that was really cool. You should be able to find that on Netflix. Are they still on Netflix?
I think so. Some of them are.
I have ESPN Plus and I never use it. I think the last time I used the ESPN Plus is to watch the Michael Vick documentary when it first came out. That was the last time I actually actively used my ESPN Plus subscription on purpose.
Nice.
Oh no! I watched The Last Dance. I did watch the uncensored The Last Dance on ESPN.
That's on Netflix now too.
The uncensored one too.
I think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they had both on ESPN Plus. They had the regular one, the one that aired on TV, and then the uncensored one. The uncensored one is so much better.
I still need to check it out, but yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vic documentary, if that's on Netflix, you should totally watch that. It's a fascinating look at. Is a fascinating look at him, but also where he's from.
Yeah. So listen. So I hate to burst the bubble and everything, but I actually do have to hop off.
Oh no, we finished. I think we got it.
Okay, cool.
So in y'all got anything else? I think we pretty much hit it all.
Yeah, I think so. I think we covered everything.
Okay. Well, thank you both gentlemen for being on the show, for participating in August. You know, we appreciate having you on, both. Oh, yeah. And like I love Max. I love your transformation into Team Wolf's dad. I really like that. So thank you for checking us out. We may or may not have a bonus episode of August next week. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We appreciate everyone that's taking the time to listen to us. We love doing this for you, and we love that some of y'all get in and y'all engage and have fun. Shout out to the homie Mike J, who sends me messages when he hears the shows, and Ron Block, who shares it on Facebook all the time, and just the people who get out there and share it and stuff like that. That's really dope. I might actually try to get onto a service that's going to auto tweet it out for a while. I'd like all of the episodes, but we'll get to that soon, because I know Rashani does it. But unless we do the show next week, that wraps up August. We appreciate you all. And we'll be back again in April. We're going to try to call that something else.
Well,
we're going to try this again.
Well, February is actually the 6 months from August, so that's actually the opposite. But it's kind of hard to make a February.
Yeah, February is not good for me. Like, February is not good for me because depending on the day, I might have to do some traveling, and especially February next year, that Monday falls on my daughter's birthday, and I'm not doing a fucking show on my daughter's birthday. So, fuck that. So yeah, we can't do it for February. It has to be April. Or we can do March. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out off air. Thank y'all for listening. We'll be back in your ear holes possibly next week. If not, in 2 weeks, we'll be right back in your ear holes to show y'all some love. Peace out to the Warriors, yo. We out of here.
See ya.
Later.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. Alright, I ain't gonna talk.